Hey, it's been a while, but I thought since it's the 20th anniversary of this movie here, House of a Thousand Corpses, I thought I'd talk about it. But before we talk about it, I just want to shout out this edition. This is the Umbrella edition, the Aussie edition. It's a 2-pack. You get House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I just fucking... Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. That artwork is just fucking awesome. I love that artwork. But also, it's like on the discs as well. Like, usually discs, plain shit these days. But like, the discs, man, the art on the discs is just fucking awesome. It's just sweet. And of course, you get special features. I love it. Special features. But anyway, yeah, you get the point. Awesome copy of these movies. But we're here to talk about House of a Thousand Corpses. Rob Zombie's debut movie. I still remember seeing this movie for the first time. Like, when this movie came out, I was really getting into weird, strange horror. I was discovering that stuff around the same time. I think around the same time, I just saw, like, Cannibal Holocaust for the first time. That kind of stuff I was discovering. And, yeah, I was very interested in that stuff. And, like, this movie came to the theatre, like, and that was... Man, I miss them days, because now you don't get them kind of movies. It's all the mainstream shit. But then, like, back then you had variety. You had these weird horror movies coming out to the theatre. I remember this, fucking Night Watch, fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Beginning also came out. Hostel. It was these kind of interesting horror movies that would come to the theatre. But you don't get that these days. It's all about the Marvel movies. And this was before all the big, the big comic book boom. The MCU and DC movies and all that shit were really huge. They'll create their own universe. So yeah, I remember when I saw I don't think... I wasn't even following, movie news really. I think I saw a preview on TV, and I was like, oh cool, I'll go see that. And I remember I was so hyped to see it. I remember going and seeing it. And I remember lining up to buy the ticket. There's people in front of me. I remember hearing like 1,000 Corpses, and them go, and then them walking away without buying it. I was like, huh, what's going on here? What's going on here? So I went, I could have a ticket to House of a Thousand Corpses. I knew I was old enough, so that was no problem. And they go, oh, no, sorry, we're not showing that. But I'm like, you got the advertisement, you're advertising it's on. And they're like, something happened, yeah, we can't show it today. I'm like, bum. I can't remember if it was the next day or the week after. Because at the same time I was studying, so... I had other commitments. So yeah, I remember going and seeing it whenever it was. It was either the next day or next week. But I remember getting into finally seeing it, and coming out of it, I was like, that was really weird. I don't know if I liked it. And yeah, I have to say, like, but the thing is, I always kept remembering stuff from it. Like I thought there was like some really cool things about it. But overall, it just didn't click with me. And then Bring on the Devil's Rejects. Saw that. I loved it. And from there, I became a Rob Zombie fan. I actually saw it twice. Devil's Rejects, yeah. I love that movie so much. In the opening week, yeah, I saw it twice. But anyway, then I think years later after, and then after seeing Devil's Rejects, I went back to watch House of a Thousand Corpses to see, if I really liked it. And rewatching it, I liked it a lot, man. I really my love for that movie just grew after each time watching it. Yeah, and I just become a massive zombie fan, which was fucking awesome. Yeah, like after seeing this house for the first time, I remember checking out his music. Yeah, I checked out Zombies music because I liked one of the songs he sung in that movie. After the name of the movie, and I remember digitally buying some of his songs. On it was on I can't remember. It was on a website. I think it was Big Point. Yeah, it was like the Telstra website, and yeah, I just bought them. I can't remember. I think it was I didn't even buy the whole album. There was certain songs I just bought. It was off his first two albums, and yeah, then I became a big fan of his music, and and now I have some of his albums on vinyl. Like I got this on vinyl. Yeah. Probably my favorite one. Where is it? What's the title? God damn. Yeah, Hellbilly Deluxe, which is probably my favorite album of his, and his most recent album. His fucking most recent album. But yeah, you can say I'm a fan of his music. The movie is such an interesting movie because how it's filmed also. It feels like you're on a drug trip. And Zombie just goes in this weird place where, like, personally, I believe he hasn't made a movie like this before and ever since. But also, there wasn't a movie like this movie, and there hasn't been since this movie came out. And also, the history of this movie is really interesting, where he made it through Universal, and like I don't know if it was like a preview or I can't remember if it was finished or whatever. He showed it to some people at the studio, and they're like, "Fuck this, we don't want this." And then I don't know if it was like 6 months or a year or whatever. And then like it's like, yeah, we'll take this movie, and it's what it is now. But yeah, started his directing career, which I'm a big fan of. But yeah, going back to House, like the movie is so interesting. It's called back to like old horror movies and that, and it's just interesting. Like from, like I said, like how it's made. Like some scenes, like moments, it feels like you're on a drug trip. Like the story, I really like the story. You got these kids who are like going around to these like horror spots, you could say, or haunted horror, whatever it is, and yeah, they end up in this house with this family. Are they called the family in it? Because because in Devil's Rejects they're called the Fireflies or whatever, but I don't know. I can't remember if they're called that in House. And it's but yeah, and when these kids meet these this family, and one of the best things about this movie is the characters of this family. You got Bill Moseley's character, even though you don't know he's part of the family until later on. The clown, like fucking, the character of the clown's fucking awesome. Just that the robbery scene's fucking awesome. I love that. But yeah, just the creepiness about this house, and the characters and the family, and just everything that happened to these kids, and when you really see the family and that. Also, even though it went nowhere, Dr. Satan was a very interesting character. It would have been cool to see what he would have done with that character in later movies. Even though I think he's is Dr. Satan in the animated movie he did? I can't remember. But yeah. House is just a fucking amazing movie. it's so good. Like Devil's Rejects is my favorite, but House is so good. House of Thousand Corpses, yeah, like it's such an interesting movie. You know, it's got this creepiness about it. Awesome soundtrack, as well. Like, man, it's so fucking good. Like, from from the mother to Shaman Zombie's character, like I said, Bill Moseley's character, just all the characters in this house, and even when the cops get involved, trying to find where the kids are and that, and getting brought into this house, and but they don't come back out. You could say, fucking love it. It's a movie that lives in my head, and for interesting reasons, great reasons. Now I'm like a big fan of Rob Zombie. His movies are so interesting, and excited for what he does next. But it's just for the 20th anniversary. I had to, say something about this movie because it's so good. This movie, for me, it's like definitely one of the better modern horror movies in the last fucking 20 years. And I don't think anyone will do a movie like House of a Thousand Corpses, because it came at a time where there was some interesting stuff happening in horror, and even though there's some interesting stuff happening still in horror, I just don't think it'll be like, it's not happening like what's happening around this era, which is kind of sad. But I just gotta say, just glad they made this movie, because just the history of this movie is very interesting as well. But yeah, also there's like this cool new release. It's a bit pricey, and I probably won't get it because I got this copy and I'm like satisfied with this copy. It's got the first two movies, which I'm happy with. So yeah, but man, just a great movie, and I'm happy that it's getting some love to this day. Like, I thought after seeing it for the first time it would just disappear, but man, I'm glad that I revisited the movie and it held up for me, and it still holds up, and I still love this fucking movie, and yeah, and it's still been remembered, and yeah, it's just exciting just to talk about. And yeah, anyway, I just wanted to say some things about that, and yeah, and anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.